So I found an article entitled 27 Ugly Truths About Retirement, and I pared it down to just 10 ugly truths. We're going to discuss it today. Now, these are subjects that most people may want to avoid, but avoid them at your own peril. We're not going to do that today. We're going to talk about it. Coming up next. Hey, this is Mel Stubbs. I'm a financial planner at Christy Capital Management, where we're helping federal employees get prepared to retire successfully. And today, we're going to go over some ugly truths about retirement. Now, number one on the list is you can invest too conservatively. Now, many people, as they are moving towards retirement age, they're moving from more aggressive investments to more conservative investments. But can that pendulum swing too far, where you're actually overly conservative and not keeping up with inflation? With the G Fund as the most conservative option in the TSP, if you're 100% in the G Fund over a long period of time, are you earning enough money? Well, I recently looked at the TSP webpage in September of 2023, and the 10-year average in the G Fund was 2.25%. I also did a little research on the inflation rates. Most of the time it's around 2%, but around 2022 it went up to 9%, and I think it settled back down to 4% here late 2023 at the filming of this video. If the inflation rate is higher than your investment return, that means your spending ability is going down. Your balance might be slowly going up, but your ability to purchase the same amount of goods and services is actually going down. I've heard it said that you'd actually be going broke safely. So being overly conservative is a problem that needs addressing. Another big concern is that you're probably going to live longer than your parents, which will cost more. The longer you live, the more you'll have to spend in those extended years of retirement. Another ugly truth about retirement is the timing of Social Security and how you need to do it correctly to be beneficial. But if you mistime it, it can really mess you up. And we've done a full webinar on Social Security and the timing of it. And so that's more of a one-on-one situation, if you want to talk with somebody about it. Especially if you're married, there are some decisions you want to make there. Now, another ugly truth is that you might regret skipping your Roth contributions. And I'll go ahead and throw it in here that you might even regret not doing Roth conversions sooner. The benefit of a Roth account is that you fund it with after-tax dollars, and then the accumulated investment earnings, they're all tax-free in your lifetime to spend, but then they're also going to be tax-free for your beneficiaries when they inherit it. Please keep in mind that there's a 5-year rule for taking earnings out, and you need to be 59.5 or over to make sure those are tax-free for you. Now, for a long time, the mantra has been to save traditional while working, because when you retire, you're going to be in a lower tax bracket. So just take out your distributions then. But, if that's true, then that'd be good advice. But what we find with many federal retirees is that when they account for their pension, their Social Security, and their spouse's Social Security, along with taking some distributions from TSP or the IRA accounts, they don't end up being in a lower tax bracket. If that's true, then it comes down to what's the numeric number on your tax bracket. At the filming of this video, there's a 10% bracket, a 12% bracket, a 22% bracket, a 24% bracket, etc. Before Trump's tax cuts, the 12% bracket, it actually was 15%, and the 22 was actually 25. If the Trump tax cuts sunset, then the rates will be going back up. Whenever you retire, you have to pay taxes at whatever the going tax rate happens to be. You may retire in the same exact tax bracket, but actually pay a higher tax because the number on that bracket is higher. Many people may regret not doing Roth sooner. Now, we've done other videos like, is it too late to start Roth? And so the benefit of Roth is that all the years will be tax-free growth. So even if you're 65 years old, hopefully you've got another 15, 20, 25 years of potential growth in there. If you leave it to a beneficiary and they're not your spouse, they'll have at least an additional 10 years that the money could stay in the Roth status to grow tax-free. So I'm of the belief that it's never too late to start Roth. Another ugly truth is that most people will need some form of long-term care. Your federal health care and Medicare do not pay for long-term care needs. That's something that either you need to pay out of your income or your assets or get some type of coverage for. There are traditional long-term care policies that you can get, but there's also permanent life insurance where the death benefit doubles as long-term care coverage. Many people aren't comfortable talking about it, but it's definitely something that needs to be planned for. Another ugly truth about retirement is inflation can eat away at your nest egg. Now, what's helpful is that your pension has a cost of living adjustment built into it, and Social Security has cost of living adjustment built into that too. Now, it may not fully keep up with the true cost of living, but it does do a lot of the heavy lifting. The other way to offset inflation and to maintain the same purchasing power is for your assets, they need to keep growing. In 10 years, when it's going to cost you more to live, you need to have more assets available to pull from to pay for it. This kind of lines up with our first ugly truth about being invested too conservatively, where if you're not keeping up with inflation, that can be a problem. Getting the right investment mix that suits your risk tolerance, but also suits what you need to fund your lifestyle is vital. We've done some other videos going over some of the conservative options because they're not all the same. Some conservative options earn more than others, so you may want to check that video out. Here's another truth about retirement that comes up from time to time, is that your children can borrow for college, but you can't borrow for retirement. To take this step further, helping your children to pay for things that could possibly jeopardize your retirement is probably not something that you want to do. For clients, we prepare a financial blueprint that shows them whether they're going to have enough money or not. Based on their level of spending, we can show them with relative accuracy whether they have enough money or not. Now, if the plan shows that they're going to have a lot of excess money, then they can go pay for whatever they want to for their children. But if the plan is kind of cutting it close, then you may want to take a second look before you pay for a bunch of money for college or other spending for your children. We don't want you to jeopardize your retirement for that. And this leads us right into another ugly truth, is that your adult children can derail your retirement plans. If it's not college, then maybe it's a down payment for a house. I've gotten several calls from clients where their children's, like their car's just broken down, they're stuck, and they end up buying a new car or a used car for their children. Help out in any way you want to, but just don't jeopardize your retirement if you don't have to. Another truth about retirement is that many aging parents can affect your retirement plans. As you're coming up with your spending needs in retirement, are you going to have to help your aging parents? It needs to be in the budget if so. And then the last ugly truth that many people don't want to talk about is wealth transfers. Some families don't like to talk about money, and they may be uncomfortable talking about the plans they have for their money at their death. And so to avoid misinterpretations, it would be a good idea to sit down and have a conversation with your future heirs so that they can understand the rationale behind the decisions that you've made. This is something that if you're a client of ours, we can help you with. Hopefully this information has been helpful. If you want to watch 4 things to know before retirement, then watch this video right here. If you need more individualized help, go to christycapital.com and click Talk to an Advisor. Check out christycapital.com/webinars to sign up for our next free federal retirement webinar. My name is Mel Stubbs. I'll see you next time.